Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a classic that many of you might have fond memories of, or maybe never even heard of. Armed and Dangerous on the original Xbox. This game first released back in 2003, developed by Planet Moon Studios and published by LucasArts, and it made a name for itself thanks to its over-the-top humor, outrageous weapons, and a unique mix of third-person shooting and comedy that you don't see too often these days. But the big question we're answering today is, in 2026, is it still worth picking up and playing? We'll look at the gameplay, story, nostalgia factor, and even how it holds up in modern times. So stick around. And of course, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. If you want even more exclusive gaming discussions, including my latest Patreon exclusive about whether PCs and Xboxes are becoming the same platform, check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. Armed and Dangerous is a third-person shooter with a flair for absurd comedy. You play as Roman, the leader of the Lionhearts, a ragtag team of misfits including a tea-loving robot and a mole with a Scottish accent, and your mission is to stop the evil King Forge from unlocking a legendary magical book. What sets this game apart from other shooters at the time, and even today, is its incredible sense of humor. Everything from the dialogue to the weapon designs is packed with wit, parody, and just sheer ridiculousness. It's not trying to be serious. In fact, it leans into its absurdity with full force. And honestly, that's part of what makes it memorable even over 20 years later. Now let's talk gameplay. Armed and Dangerous mixes standard third-person shooting mechanics with some of the most inventive weapons you'll ever see. You've got guns that fire mini-shocks underground, gravity-inverting devices. While it may sound silly, and it is, the gameplay is actually quite engaging. Sure, by today's standards, the controls can feel a bit clunky, and the combat isn't as tight or as polished as modern shooters, but the sheer creativity of the weapon design and level layout makes it worth experiencing. Every encounter feels like the game is in on the joke with you, not just at you. The story itself is nothing earth-shattering, but it doesn't need to be. The writing is sharp, clever, and filled with moments that still land well in 2026. Characters like Roman and the Lionhearts are memorable, and the banter between team members keeps you entertained even when the combat becomes repetitive. It's very much a game that prioritizes personality over realism, and that's where it shines. Whether it's mocking tropes of other shooters or delivering a pun so bad it's brilliant, the humor has aged surprisingly well, and if you love games that don't take themselves too seriously, this is a perfect throwback. Graphically, this is definitely a game of its time. The environments are colorful and full of character, but by modern standards, the textures, models, and animations are dated. That said, it has a unique art style that still gives it charm even in 2026. The audio also complements the humor beautifully, with voice acting that leans into every joke and ridiculous weapon sound effect that somehow never gets old. You can tell a lot of love and personality went into the presentation, even if it doesn't hold a candle to today's hyper-realistic graphics. When Armed and Dangerous launched back in 2003, critics generally liked it, giving it scores in the mid to high 70s. It wasn't revolutionary, but it carved out a niche for itself thanks to its comedy and creative gameplay. Fans remember it fondly for its memorable weapons, humorous writing, and overall personality. Its legacy is that of a cult classic, a game that stands out more for being different than for doing everything right in the shooter genre. And now, over 20 years later, it's interesting to see how it holds up compared to modern titles. So what's it like to play in 2026? Let's break it down. The pros: first, nostalgia. If you grew up with the original Xbox, or if you just love quirky games with strong personalities, this is a fun trip back in time. Second, it's backwards compatible, so you can play it on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One digitally or through backward compatibility. Third, the humor is still intact. It doesn't feel like it's trying too hard or relying on outdated jokes. The cons? Well, the graphics and controls feel old, and the combat can be repetitive. Also, the game is fairly short. You can probably finish it in a few hours if you rush. And digital availability can be hit or miss since it's been delisted from some platforms over the years. But if you approach it for what it is, a humorous, absurd, and creative shooter, it's an experience worth having. So is Armed and Dangerous worth playing in 2026? If you're someone who enjoys retro shooters with personality, humor, and unique weapons, absolutely. It's a fun, short, and silly experience that reminds you why games like this were so special in the early 2000s. However, if you're looking for modern mechanics, realistic graphics, or deep gameplay systems, you might want to skip it in favor of newer titles. In the end, it's a nostalgic curiosity. A game that's more about style and laughs than about cutting edge gameplay. And honestly, that's okay. Sometimes games like this are exactly what you need when you want something light, funny, and completely ridiculous. Thanks so much for watching. If you played Armed and Dangerous, I want to hear your thoughts. Did you love it, or do you think it hasn't aged well? Drop a comment below because I love hearing from all of you. And don't forget, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. If you want even more exclusive content, check out my Patreon. My latest post dives into the discussion about whether PCs and Xboxes are becoming the same platform. The support really helps the channel, and you get access to videos that you won't see here on YouTube. Thanks again for tuning in, and as always, game on.